Welcome to the fifth video in the series of Philosophy of Research. This is the second video on the topic validity. In our last video, we have primarily covered the planes of theory and observation, and we have defined what validity is. Now moving from what validity is to different types of validity, and here we will be discussing about 4 different types of validity. Whenever we in research, we normally deal with 2 planes of reality. One is called the plane of observation and another one is the plane of theory. So normally our validity, that is the 2 validities, conclusion and internal, belong to the plane of observation, whereas the construct validity is actually belongs to both the planes, because it is actually, as you could see by this arrow, it is two-way. So something which is a part of it is there reflected in your construct. You are interested in construct. And finally the external validity, which has to do with generalizability. So what these terms actually mean, let's try to understand validity through some example. So let's say that you have some reasons to believe that virtual classroom improves students' understanding of course material. So this example was given in the book was published way back in year 2002. So you could relate it, because so some examples need some kind of explanation. So that was the time, yes, the World Wide Web was popular, but not, the user base was not much. So still there were people, still it was something which is accessible to let's say wealthier students or people belonging to of higher economic status. So let's say you want to learn about virtual classroom, that whether virtual classroom improves student understanding of course. So the first thing to talk about is the conclusion validity, and where conclusion validity falls. Conclusion validity actually falls here, right? So you have a program, you said that so when you say virtual classroom, you are not sure which virtual classroom, it is still a theory, and you say understanding of a subject, so it is still a theory. So you need to operationalize. So you actually operationalize and you say that now I have a particular website, and my course material is there, and then you say it leads to greater understanding, developing a deeper understanding of a given subject. So you have your test scores. So what you are doing, this is also very much into public domain, this is also very much into public domain. You could see it, and that is why it is on the plane of observation. So you have your conclusion validity, which talks about you begin with this fundamental question, that is there a relationship between the World Wide Web's www site and knowledge of course material? Yes, the answer would be pretty simple. There could be a relationship, there could be no relationship. There could be a positive relationship, there could be negative relationship, there could be no relationship. If there is no relationship, there is no need to move further, or maybe we have to actually look into the methods or sample that whether we have we were not able to find it. So having said this, if there is a relationship, only then we move ahead for another kind of validity. So first is in the first go we never establish causality. We first talk about relationship. Okay, just remember this. We first begin with, is there a kind of relationship between, let's say, use of www website and the knowledge of course material. This is all we are interested in, right? Then we move to, having said that yes, there is a relationship and there is a positive relationship, then we move to internal validity, where we try to prove that the knowledge which, the understanding which is taken place is attributed to this www website. Okay, but understand, simply there is a relationship means conclusion validity you have established doesn't mean that it is going to be causal. Causal is actually the domain of internal validity. You say that both the factors could be caused, both the events could be caused by the same factors. Suppose the wealthier students have greater resources and more likely to have access to www site, and maybe they have other resources also that could help them to perform well in the exam or objective test. So we have to be very, very sure that the program or outcome, let's say here, the plane of what you see is actually due to what you do. So there has to be some kind of connection between them, right? And that is why we call it as internal validity. Then we move to the third part, which is actually the construct validity, which is the linkage between the bottom and the top. So yes, we have seen it on the plane of observation, and now we have to actually see that whether whatever we have thought of theoretically and whatever we are doing in practical terms, those things, the practical thing is actually reflecting well the theoretical concepts. All I want to say this. So having said that there is a causal relationship, can we claim that the program reflected well our construct of the program, and that our measures reflected well our idea of construct of measure? Putting it simply, whether we have implemented the program we intended to implement, and whether we measure the outcome we wanted to measure. Yes. So how well are ideas being translated? How well we are able to operationalize our ideas, right? In any research, we would like to be able to conclude that we did a credible job of operationalizing our constructs. We can assess the construct validity of this conclusion. So ultimately something was there in theory and now it is translated into reality. So how well you cannot transform everything into reality, but to what extent? What is your contribution to your research? That is why construct validity is something which has a bearing on both the planes, theoretical plane of theory as well as plane of observation. Finally, we arrive at external validity, where we say that yes, there is a causal relationship between the construct and the cause and the effect. Can we generalize this effect to other persons, places or times? So if we try to extend it to, let's say, to situations, to different places, to different persons, can we generalize it, right? So if we are able to generalize it, then it will be an addition to the theory, right? So our generalizability actually is the real litmus test that yes, we have actually arrived at a beautiful theory. Okay, so we are likely to make some claims that our research findings will have implication for other groups and individuals in other settings and at other times. When we do that, we examine the external validity of these claims. So just to recap, we started with the plane of observation, and we have this first step is our conclusion validity, where our central question is there a relationship between the program and the outcome? We observe it. Establishing or figuring out that there is a relationship, we climb one step up and we arrive at the step of internal validity, where we say yes, there is a relationship, whether that relationship is causal or not. Then we move to another step, which is construct validity, where we see can we generalize to the construct. So how well our operationalization, how well we have implemented our program, how well we have measured those outcomes, and those measured outcomes are reflecting the theoretical ideas or the whatever we there is a high degree of reciprocation between the theory and practical. And then we plan to move one step up, which is external validity, where we try to generalize to other persons, places and times. So this is what the question about, this is all about the validity, and I hope you have understood something about the validity, and we'll have more videos of validity once we will enter into the domain of measurement. So keep watching. Thank you very much.